Our second panel discussion is on strategies for growth and how you can leverage state and local programs. And we have a phenomenal panel that I'm going to let them do a self-introduction, but please give your attention and applause to our next panel discussion.
Good morning. So, I understand we are the last panel between now and lunch, so we're going to make this very, very crucial for you all to understand the information we're going to present. My name is David Elizondo. I am the District Director for the U.S. Small Business Administration, and I have the distinct pleasure of moderating this panel with subject matter experts to help you grow your small business. We're going to start off with a little bit of introductions, and then we're going to go into some lead discussions at the very end. We should have some time for some Q&As from the audience. So that being said, I'm the District Director for the Small Business Administration San Antonio District Office. We only cover 55 counties throughout Central and South Texas. Our mission is to help small businesses start, grow, expand, and recover. With me today is a group of panelists that I will allow them to introduce themselves for a quick 2 minutes overview, and then we'll lead into the questions.
Hey y'all, my name is John Simmons. I'm a mentor with SCORE, and I have owned a business along with my wife for 10 years. And then I am also starting up a new business right now that's quite new. So I'm excited to talk on this panel.
Good morning, my name is Shane Wilhelm. I am with Business and Community Lenders of Texas, or BCL of Texas. We've got a table there in the back. We're a nonprofit small business lender that also provides coaching and entrepreneurship classes and that sort of thing. So we're here to talk about alternative financing and ways that we could support small businesses in this community. And I'm a local, been here since 2017.
Good morning, I'm Kim Dugey, Vice President and Commercial Banker at VeraBank, a $4.2 billion local community bank with 43 branches, over 550 employees. I was a former small business owner, owned and operated 2 businesses. My husband has owned and operated his business his entire life. And we are expanding our 40-year cattle company that my father-in-law started with 1 bull and 3 cows, and now has many, many more. So my entrepreneurship is absolutely in our blood. And I'm happy to be a panel to talk about the opportunities that local community banks offer.
Thank you very much. So before we get started with the questions that I have here in front of me, I do want to give a quick shout out to the governor's office for putting this event together, but also the Bastrop city officials that also are coordinating this event. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, so we got a bunch of questions ready to go, and it's called rapid fire questions. I'm totally kidding. So let's start with, it's funny that I actually have this. So we're gonna go with John, Shane, and then Kim, and then we'll have another round of questions followed. And then at the end, as I mentioned, we'll have some time for some Q&As from the audience. So let's start with you, John.
Sure.
What do you say to people that have an idea for a business and they're interested in learning how they can fund it? What's the next step towards making this happen?
Yeah, so I think for this question, it's a lot about organization and developing relationships. So you want to develop relationships with community banks, potentially investors, but you also want to get organized. So for us, SCORE is an organization that was created by an act of Congress in 1964. And since that founding, it has helped over 10 million business owners start and run businesses. And so you want to find, as the previous panel talked about, you want to find a mentor. SCORE is a great place to do that, where you can ask them questions. These are people who've owned and run businesses. A lot of them have retired or sold their businesses. So I think developing those relationships and getting a mentor, and then getting organized with a business plan is another great step towards getting funding for your idea.
How many small business owners do we have? So how many do not have a business plan? Okay, that's good. Everyone knows about SCORE then, right? I think what John mentioned too is his services and who he works with is score, and they provide services at no cost. So if you need someone to revisit your business plan, look at your financial projections, John and his team are going to do this at no cost as they are an SBA resource partner. So keep John in mind as a potential option as well. So we talk all day long about acronyms, and we throw terms like CDCs and CDFIs and SBA. And so sometimes we have to stop and think like, man, that's a lot of acronyms, but do I really know what a CDFI is and what a CDC is? So Shane, what is a CDFI? What is a CDC, sir?
We're letters in the bowl of alphabet soup. No, really, we're a community development financial institution, and which is really long, complicated words, and then a certified development company. And really what that means is we're a nonprofit lender. So we're not necessarily competition with a bank, but most often we work in partnership with banks to handle clients and help customers that they may not be able to touch. And so a lot of the times, if you're a brand new startup, a bank may not be able to offer you lending, or if there's a credit issue or any number of other reasons a bank may not be able to offer lending, that's where we can kind of step in to fill the gap. And I want to give a shout out to People Fund and Lift Fund in the back. There are other CDFIs and CDCs that work with us as well. And CDC is a designation that we're given because we work with a specific type of loan called a SBA 504 loan. And so in those loans, we partner with a bank to help you purchase real estate or major equipment for your business. And so like I said, we kind of fill the gaps where banks may not be able to step in. So if you're a small business and you're looking for capital, or you're looking for financing for a project, and a bank might say no or not yet, come to us. We may be able to partner and do something with you on that project. And then another part of what we do being a nonprofit is we partner every one of our loan clients with business coaching and entrepreneurship training, because we want to be with you for the life of your business to make sure you're successful as possible, and that you have not just the capital to grow and scale your business, but also the support and the training behind it to maintain that success.
Thanks, sir. So Kim,
Yes.
we see you down there, ma'am. You're ready, aren't you?
I'm ready. Shoot.
So I'm going to hit you with a real hard question. Starting a business is the easy part, would you say?
Absolutely.
So how does someone's mindset and grit affect business?
We have a lot of small business owners out here in our audience today. And speaking from experience of owning and operating, starting from scratch, 2 businesses, the second one where I knew no one in Houston, it took a lot of grit and determination every single day. My question for the small business owners here, are you playing to win, or are you playing not to lose? Where's your mindset? Mindset in life is everything. What I did a couple of years into my business, I turned off the news. My first business, I turned off the news because I was in the financial service industry and I'd been through a crash or 2 in my lifetime. And hearing that chatter in the back from a source that was not benefiting me nor helping my mindset stay positive, I shut it out. Anything that was not positive or supportive of me and my endeavors, I had to shut it out. That also included family members who were like, why are you doing this? Don't you know there's a million other insurance agents in Houston? You have to guard your mind. And I have to guard it from myself too. Even today, waking up every single morning with positive information going on, and what can I do to grow my bank? What can I do to grow my clientele in a small town where there's 10 banks and 3 credit unions? Business can be tough, but business is fun, and it should be fun, right? Yeah.
One thing that came to light during the pandemic for many people is the opportunity to start what we call side hustles. I think we can all agree to that. Like, man, I have a lot of time. I'm working from home. I can start a little side business, whether it's something online or an actual physical product as well. And so a lot of folks actually transition their careers into doing this full time. People like John had the opportunity, and of course Shane and Kim had this opportunity to see this firsthand of people approaching their banks and saying, I need a loan to start my side hustle. I want to go full throttle with this now. So for John, what if someone has a few customers, right? And their side hustle starting to expand. What's the next step towards growing this into something that can support a lifestyle or a family?
Yeah, that's a great question. If you've got a side hustle and you're looking to expand it, I think a great place to start is mentorship and really finding somebody who can take you to the next step, has been through that startup phase, and can kind of guide and coach you through not only what your next steps could be, but also how it's going to feel. Because as we know, uncertainty can kill ideas. And so you want to be able to, as Kim said, you want to be able to guide your mindset. And so a really good mentor can help you understand that making that transition and making that leap can feel really scary, but it's natural, and it doesn't mean that your idea isn't a good one. And so having, almost as much as like having that business plan, having that emotional support from someone who's been through it before can be very powerful and really help propel you into something that you might not even believe is possible for yourself. So I think that's a really good next step.
So the word we're using right now is mentorship. An acronym to that is, of course, like a coach. So Shane, to John's point here, what is the value of having a mentor or coach?
I'm just going to say ditto to what John said. No, I mean, I have two side hustles as well. A wedding venue here in Bastrop County, and then my own garage side hustle. And I don't want to take them full time because I still enjoy them, and I want to add the stress. Sometimes that's just too much pressure. A lot of what we see being a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, is that a lot of businesses are not necessarily, they have a great idea. They've gotten their business off the ground. They don't know necessarily how to scale it. They don't know what resources are available. They may not, I see this all the time, someone who loves baking, and so they start a bakery, or they love woodworking like me and start a woodworking business. Great at that, not necessarily great at managing the financials, managing the billing, managing all the behind the scenes things, the tax filings, and those are the kind of things that can get you in trouble. And so a lot of the times it's really helpful to have a coach, have a mentor that can help you navigate best practices for doing those things. And so that kind of leads you to, when it comes to time to scale your business and having access to capital, I take in probably about 40 to 50 different loan inquiries a week by myself. And the number one thing I see is people do not have their financials in order. And so what I do is I send them to one of our business coaches. I said, listen, I like you. I like your product. I like what you're doing. I can't loan you money right now because I don't even know how much money the business is generating. I can't see that you have the capacity to repay that loan. So I'm going to send you to one of our business coaches. They're going to help you get this in order. And when they tell me you're ready, then I'll proceed with the loan process. And so a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll send somebody through coaching to help them get lender ready, so to say. And we probably coach about 10,000 clients a year and walk them through the process, whether it's they're starting a business or they have an idea to start a business, all the way through they've been operating for 10 years and now they're ready to scale again to that next level. Coaching comes in at every step of the way. And so it's about leaning on those ideas and leaning on that experience that you may not have and taking advantage of those people who have already walked down that path and can help you.
You want to elaborate if a family member is considered a coach, Shane?
No. I do think it's important to have someone in a similar industry or who has been in that industry. There's a lot of value and also, outside perspective and sharing ideas with people with a completely different perspective. But I don't like listen, I'm the ninth of 10 kids. I don't do business with my family for a reason. Right? That gets you into some dangerous situations.
Good point, Shane. So at the San Antonio district office, when we do get customer calls, oftentimes the number one thing we hear is, I'm having issues with access to capital. And where do I start? Where do I go? Who can I talk to? So Kim, to that point, How does a strong relationship with the right banker help your business take off, survive hard times, and scale when the time is right?
Very good question. Starting your own business, in my opinion, from experience with my first business, I didn't realize 30 years ago the importance of having a banker on my side of my team. I thought I could do it all on my own. And it was a really hard lesson. There were some growing pains. It is absolutely, you have to find a person that you know, like, and trust for your banker, for your mentor, and surround yourself with as many people that are bigger than you to help get you to where you want to go. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are thinking small, you hopefully will eventually outgrow them. The crucial point of a banker is to understand business, understand your business plan, and it's your job and your banker's job to come to a understanding of what you're trying to attempt and buy into your vision. If your banker's not buying into your vision or don't believe in you, you need to find another person. Times in banking right now are very difficult just because of the economy and where we are. What I have seen recently are people coming in with great ideas, but they have maxed out their credit cards on their businesses, and that's not a good way to start a business at all. So I recommend interviewing, like you would a realtor, a banker, a lawyer. Invest that time in forming the relationship up front. It will save you a lot of heartache down the road.
Shane and Kim, this is a really good follow-on question to that. So perhaps tell the audience, what is the difference between a business loan versus, say, a car loan or a mortgage?
It's based on the productivity in your business. Are you going to be able to repay this with the money from your business, or is that new loan that you're requiring going to be detrimental and set your business back? A car loan is the same thing, but it's in your personal finances. Is there room in your budget? And I'm going to say something a little stern here. If you're not good at your personal finances, guess what? You won't be good at your business finances either. So figure out how to make your personal finances better, and then your business will be more successful automatically.
I'll tag on to that. How you run your personal life is how you're going to run your business, right? It's exactly that. And so what we look at, number one, is character. We want to see healthy financial habits. If you're not managing your money responsibly, why would I loan you more money to not manage it responsibly? You're laughing. You're laughing, but I get a different expectation all the time that people present to me. And so it gets really, really dangerous because Texas fortunately has a law that says I can't use your homestead as collateral for a loan. So that's a good thing. That way, if your business fails, you're not homeless at the same time. We don't want that to happen. But also, I don't want your bookstore full of books. Like, I don't want your bakery with a commercial oven. I don't want to have a garage sale at your coffee shop if you put that stuff up as collateral for a business loan. So we don't want to be ever put in that situation. And so what I'm saying is we want to see that you have very healthy financial habits and that the business is capable of supporting a loan before we issue that loan in the first place. I'm not going to write a loan for a business that can't pay it back. And a lot of the times people call us when they get in trouble and they're saying, I've done something stupid or I've been put in a bad situation. Can you bail me out? And that puts us in a really awkward position. We don't want to be in that position. We'd rather be your first call and say, okay, now how can we help you get out of this and get on the right path moving forward, rather than the last call before someone else is coming to take what your bakery or your coffee shop, that sort of thing. So we want to be a tool to grow your business and not necessarily a last resort.
Correct. Well said.
All right, everyone's ready for quiz time, right? All right, everyone's got a pad and a pen in front of them. So we're going to quiz you all on something. So far, you're hearing about banks, business plans. Has anyone ever heard of your Bell team? I see a couple of nods. Okay, so this is one of your notes here to write down is make sure you have your Bell team ready to go. The B stands for your bankers. Everyone has their bankers already. Good working relationship. What about the A? Accounting. You better have a solid CPA ready to go at the end of the year for your taxes. What about an I? IT's good. That's a good one. Insurance. Okay, what types of insurance do you have for your small business? Have you shopped around lately? Or are you loyal to one insurance agent? And the last one, and the most important one, legal. So if you don't have your Bell team ready to go, perhaps after today, you may want to start shopping for your Bell team. So far, we've talked about access to capital, solid working relationships with your bankers, who can I talk to for mentorship to review my business plans. But let's say you already started operations. Okay, I have the solid business idea. My doors are open. I'm selling products. What do I do now? So John, for people who are thinking about marketing their business, what are some fundamental activities they should be doing?
Yep. Yeah, so I've been marketing for about 20 years, and I think what I see with small business clients is maybe just like a lack of fundamentals and not realizing the opportunity, especially for local businesses, that exists, especially for Google search, for local Google searches. So in terms of like, if you talk about customer intent, 75% of people who do near me searches are going to buy something within 24 hours. Like, this is a high intent audience, and a lot of businesses are missing out on it. So I would say make sure that you've got a website, and that website has just like some basic optimizations, that it functions well on a mobile phone, and that it loads quickly. Believe it or not, like if you're staring at a white screen, most people will leave your website. And a lot of sites I've seen from local businesses take 3-4 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but everybody's got a phone. We're kind of impatient, so if you're staring at a white screen, like, you'll bounce. The other thing I would recommend is really looking hard at your Google business profile. If you've got a storefront address, you actually have an advantage. So make sure that you list that on your Google business profile. I would recommend driving customers to leave reviews as part of your normal day-to-day operations, because reviews, especially recency of reviews, is a strong ranking factor for Google. So I would say in terms of your digital presence, you really just want to make sure that you have the fundamentals in place, and that's usually what I recommend for my local business clients.
Good insight. Sorry, keep on turning off my microphone here because I don't want any background. And this is good information because, if I have a business idea right now, I'm marketing my small business, but I want to see how I can better optimize what I'm doing, how I'm selling my products and services. And this is a great opportunity, again, to leverage individuals like John here to maybe look at your website to say, hey, maybe provide some insights, some feedback of what I'm doing right and what I can better improve. So, Shane, I'm a business owner. I'm already up and running. My finances are okay, but I want to take it to the next level. So how can I utilize a loan as a growth strategy and wealth builder?
I'll use a good example. I have a client. She's gone through our coaching for probably the last 5 or 6 years. Her and her husband started a not a cosmetic company, but like a skincare product line. They do like body oils, massage oils, soaps, and lotions, that sort of thing. Back in October, November, she was featured on Oprah's Favorite Things. And then in February, she was featured on The View. She's in 250 H-E-B stores already and has been like maxing out what she can do in her garage to the point that she's taken over her grandpa's barn. And so she needs to scale. And especially after getting that kind of exposure in PR, she had such a high demand, she needed to scale very rapidly. And that's where lending comes in, because she had orders that she couldn't fill fast enough, but she also, the machine to produce that kind of volume was quite expensive, and she didn't have the space in her garage for it. So all of a sudden, she's looking at going from a garage business to a 10,000 square foot warehouse with bottling machines and that sort of thing. we were like, okay, let's look at this from a two-phase perspective. Let's talk about a co-packer. Do you have someone who can do bottling for you? Well, she found someone, $26,000 or something along those lines to do the bottling. The machine only cost $25,000. And we're like, okay, but you can't get that machine in 2 weeks. So let's issue a line of credit. Let's get the co-packer done, get your current order demand filled. In the meantime, we're going to work on a long-term sustainable plan to help you maintain that level of capacity. So we're going to work on finding you that warehouse, and then we're going to use a different loan to finance the purchase and construction of the warehouse, the facilities, and buying the equipment so that you're more sustainable long-term. And so she's able to look at her future growth and separate that a little bit from this inflated demand. And so a couple of different loan products, but they're working with her, and she's got the cash flow to support it. That's just one of the ideas there, is utilizing it to really purchase and scale what you're already doing. The other one is through ownership. So there are certain loans, especially like a 504 loan, where we would work with a bank. It's a lower barrier of entry for you to actually purchase real estate, build your own facilities, you build your manufacturing or buy an office space, that sort of thing. And so at that point, you become an owner of real estate. And I don't know in Texas anywhere where the value of real estate's going down that much. So it's a great way to build long-term wealth, not just for you, but also for your business.
Thank you, Shane. Kim, we kind of touched on this earlier, and I want for you to really hit it home with the audience here and small business owners and key external stakeholders. We talked about this earlier. So Tony Robbins once said, how you do anything is how you do everything. So can you expand on your current personal financial situation and why having a budget in place is so important as a small business owner?
That saying has resonated with me over and over as I've gotten older in life and went through one business, then back into banking, and then another place in banking, and then owned another business, which I started from scratch, and now back into banking again. Throughout my entire life, I wanted to be a difference. I can't be a difference if I'm not a different person to myself and constantly growing. Managing personal finances to stay ahead of the game today is probably more challenging than ever because of that beautiful word, inflation, and everything costing so much. I'm watching people juggle personal finances, business finances, and when they get mixed together, it becomes a real problem. It is best to absolutely keep your personal finances and your small business, no matter how small, completely separate. And how we do anything is how we do everything is so true. If I'm a nice person, I'm going to have nice customers. If I'm a jerk of a person, I'm going to have jerk customers in front of me. Our bank manager, the CEO, has 3 rules, and it's written into our contract. Work hard, do the right thing, and don't be a jerk. I love that that is in my paperwork. That means I don't have to tolerate any of that nonsense. But how we, as a business owner, as a person on the face of God's green earth, giving back to our families and giving back to a community, it's deep in here. Business ownership, be it I'm growing a bank or I'm growing a business, is the same thing. If you're managing a nonprofit here in Bastrop, we are going to attract what we are. And it's best if we grow our personal finances first and business finances second. That sets you up for a much better experience of starting out on that entrepreneurship. The side hustles. Socking away that money, not spending it on a better vehicle, a better whatever. Cash is king, and it's very important. And not all the time is the right answer yes, and I've learned that through my entire career being in and out of mortgage lending, banking. Sometimes the right answer is no, not right now. And furthering that, if I say yes to someone, and then their business fell 6 months or a year from now, and I participated in that, I'm not going to feel very good about myself. I want to do the right thing. And if I can't do it and I feel it's a good deal, I want to be able to have another resource to pass it on to. I can't do everything. And I think these relationships, even with other bankers here in Bastrop, are huge.
Thank you, ma'am. Great insight. So, kind of running close on time, but I do want to give the panelists like last minute feedback, some tips, trips that you would recommend to the audience here. What is some final words that you'd like to share, John?
Put me on the spot here. Yeah, I mean, something I think about as a business owner is uncertainty and change, and just like managing that. And a lot of that, I talked about it earlier, comes down to just like how you approach it, like your mindset, kind of like Kim has been talking about. And I really try as much as I can. I mean, the marketing world, as you can imagine, is changing so fast that you actually can't keep up with it. And this is something that's just like a conversation in our community that it's just like impossible to keep up. And I'm sure that a lot of y'all feel the same way, whether it's technology, business, or just like the world around you. So yeah, I mean, the way I have to approach it, starting a new business in marketing, is really like leaning into the change, realizing it's okay not to know everything, and really trying to find any advantage I can, and then lean into that as hard as I can. So I've seen that work in my own business, and I've seen it work for other businesses as well.
Thank you, John. Shane, final words of wisdom.
Have a partner toolbox. And kind of what I mean by that is know who you need to know and know when you need to know them, right? So you should always have that coach or mentor, a score rep, a small business coach, know your accountant, know the folks that David was talking about earlier. But if you're a Bastrop local and you don't know Becky and you don't know Dory and Angela and Adina, they're in the room, you need to know them. You need to, dear God, I've never met anyone in my life who knows more people than Adina Lewis with Bastrop County Economic Development. And I've known her for 15 years. And so you should know these people, and you should know, okay, if I don't know somebody who can help me with this thing, who do I know who does know that person? And those are three folks who it's their job to know everybody. And so think about those people in your life that can help you get to that next level, and keep them like handy. A Rolodex is an old word, but keep them in your Rolodex.
What is that?
Yeah, like keep them in your phone. Be in constant communication with them, because I guarantee they know somebody who can be a solution to the problem that you haven't even experienced yet.
Thank you, Shane. Kim.
There's opportunity in every economy, even a slow one. There's opportunity. I wish I would have appreciated my journey along the way a little more. Ease up on yourself. Pat yourself on the back for where you are and how far you've gotten. One of my mentors, I called crying one day going, I have no idea why I ever started this insurance agency. And she said, you're 3 years in. You've already won. Weight lifted off my shoulders. Do the best you can. Remember to pat yourself on the back for where you are, because being a small business owner is the hardest thing you could ever do.
Great input, ma'am. Great input. So we do have a couple minutes left for some Q&A from the audience. So that being said, if we see hands, then we have time for a few. Do we have someone that's a runner? We got a runner?
But as a business owner, what are the boxes that I really need to check in those banks or credit unions that will help me be successful, like insurance or cybersecurity or something like that? What am I looking for when I go and open this business account?
I would say the first thing is, do they align with the type of business that you're opening or operating? There are some industries that we don't like to participate in, specifically THC and all of these businesses that have been new to Texas, and now this is a turmoil going on with those businesses having different regulations with the state. If it is a risky business, you need to know if your bank or your credit union has an appetite for what you're wanting to do.
We have a question in the back.
Hi, this is Darla Marberger with Greater for Good. I think a lot of the conversation has been focusing on people who are starting businesses kind of from the ground up, but there are a lot of baby boomers right now who are selling their small businesses. And so my question for you is, as we perhaps consider maybe purchasing a business or kind of making our foray into small business in that way, what advice do you have for potential business owners who are looking to become a small business owner through purchase?
I'll handle that
We
one.
got a handful of panelists ready to fire away on this one.
Yeah. I'm working with 3 clients right now on this exact thing where they're purchasing an existing business. And the number one thing that I think you should look at is historical performance and the actual numbers. The number of people who say, oh, I went to this gym and I like it, so I want to buy it from the owner who's selling it. Well, why is the owner selling it? That's a really good question to start with. And then number 2, is it cash flow? Is it cash flow positive? And if it's not, then why? And me as a lender, and I'm sure you the same way, is like, I want to see at least the last 3 years of performance. I want to see that the business has the potential to be profitable, because the last thing I want to do is saddle you with something that's going to be more of a burden than it is a financial empowerment tool for you.
Absolutely. And look hard at the expenses. Look at the money that's going out of the business, and is it really going where it says it's going, or is somebody lining their pockets with something that's not being reported correctly? Those 3 years of last financials are huge and are everything, as well as you pulling your personal information together and selling yourself on why you should be a business owner. What do you have? Let me tell you, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And what do you do in a business like that when, if it's a gym, when COVID hit? Did any small business ever think we would have a pandemic and shut things down? As one of my clients said, COVID broke everything. And it did. When I had my insurance agency, though, my business exploded because people had time to sit around and shop their insurance. Their income had gone down, or at very uncertain times. You have to prepare for things that you can't even imagine happening, because when that income goes away, the bank is still going to want their payment. Maybe there'll be a forbearance for a little while, but there's all sorts of uncertainty that can happen, and you just need to be as prepared as you can be.
Well said, well said. We do have time for one more question, but afterwards we have the exhibitors in the back. We're all set up as exhibitors, so if you do have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Dory?
Hi there. I am an accountant, and I'm seeing a lot of my clients that are just starting out. Some of them have service businesses. Some of them don't have a storefront. They don't have assets to borrow against. How do you assess a business when they don't have any historical performances, and then they also don't have assets? Do you base that on AR? How does that decision get made?
That's a very difficult decision, because if there's nothing on paper, how can I make an informed decision and sell my loan committee or my manager on something that I approved when there's nothing on paper? Documentation is everything. If you went and bought a car and I was selling my car and I gave you my car and you gave me $10,000 but I didn't have the title to it, would you still want to buy that car? You have to sell your banker, your credit union, why this is a good investment. As Shane said earlier, no one makes a bad loan on purpose. Things happen in life, and that's why the communication and that first initial connection, communication is everything. You need to be in your bank selling yourself and your business to your banker, to your credit union, to a lender that's going to help you. But you have to have documentation.
I'll jump in on that as well. The other thing that I look at a lot is their character and their experience. So if I see that they've been in this industry, whether, like, I'll use a restaurant as an example. I know people that have worked from washing dishes to being the wait staff to being, a bartender, and then they're, managing the front of house, and then they've worked in every single capacity of a restaurant, and then they've become a chef. When you are a small business, a small restaurant, or a food truck, you're doing all the things, right? And so going from that to a new business that they're launching out on their own, I'm going to take some of that experience into account. And so they may not have the assets yet, but I can see that they've got the experience. They've been doing this for years. I'm going to take all that into account, as well as like what we call their global financial situation. I'm going to look at their personal capacity and see, do they have the capacity personally to cover anywhere the business may not be able to meet that loan payment or meet the financial demands. And so I need to see other assets. What other things do they own? What other things do they have that they could tap into in the event of an emergency or something along those lines? So really, it's about painting the whole picture rather than looking at, do they have just enough collateral? I want to see that they have a really well thought out business plan, and they have that support network on the other side that I know they have other people they can lean on for guidance along the way.
Thank you, Shane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to moderate this panel. I do want to give a quick shout out again to John, Shane, and Kim for being panelists on this. Thank you to the city of Bastrop for allowing us to participate. To the SBA team in the back, thank you very much. And most importantly, the governor's office for coordinating this event together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.